Welcome back to the English Daily Podcast. I'm Anna, and today we're talking about travel etiquette around the world.
And I'm Jake. That sounds like a great topic, Anna, because traveling is exciting, but it can also be a little risky if you do not understand local customs.
Exactly. Etiquette means the polite and expected behavior in a particular place or situation. When you travel, good etiquette helps you show respect, avoid misunderstandings, and make better connections with people.
So it is not just about being polite in a general way. It is about noticing that different cultures may have different ideas about what is polite.
That is right. And that is what makes this topic so useful for English learners. You are not only learning language, you are also learning how to communicate more smoothly in real life. Let's start with a simple question. Why do travel customs matter so much?
I would guess it is because people feel respected when visitors make an effort. If I go to another country and follow local customs, I am saying, I care enough to learn about your culture.
Beautifully said. That is the heart of it. One important word here is cultural awareness. Cultural awareness means understanding that people from different places may have different values, habits, and communication styles. It helps you avoid judging other people too quickly.
I like that phrase, cultural awareness. It sounds like something every traveler should develop. What is one of the first things people should think about when they arrive somewhere new?
Greeting people is a great place to start. In some countries, a handshake is common. In others, a bow is more appropriate. In some places, people greet each other with a kiss on the cheek. The key is to observe first and copy what local people do when you are unsure.
So observation is a travel skill too. I always thought traveling was mostly about booking flights and finding good food, but really it is also about paying attention.
Absolutely. Observation can save you from awkward moments. Here is a useful vocabulary word, to blend in. If you blend in, you look and behave in a way that fits naturally with the people around you. You do not want to pretend to be someone else, but you do want to be respectful and adaptable.
That makes sense. Blend in does not mean erase your personality. It means adjust your behavior so you are not accidentally rude.
Exactly. Now let's talk about one of the biggest sources of travel misunderstandings, body language. In some cultures, direct eye contact shows confidence and honesty. In others, too much eye contact can feel aggressive or disrespectful. Even simple gestures, like pointing with a finger or using your left hand, can have very different meanings.
That is fascinating. I never realized that a gesture could be misunderstood so easily. It reminds me that communication is more than just words.
Yes. In fact, that is a powerful lesson for English learners. You may know the correct words, but if your tone, facial expression, or gesture is off, the message can still feel wrong. Tone is the way your voice sounds. A friendly tone can make even simple sentences feel warm.
So if I say, I'm sorry, in a calm and kind tone, it sounds very different from saying it sharply. The words are the same, but the feeling changes.
Exactly. Now let's move to dining etiquette, because food is one of the best parts of travel. In some places, it is polite to finish everything on your plate. In other places, leaving a little food shows you are full and satisfied. Sometimes you are expected to wait until the host starts eating. Sometimes it is normal to eat quickly, and sometimes meals are slow and social.
That sounds tricky. If I were visiting a new country, I might be nervous about making a mistake at the table.
A very practical tip is this: when in doubt, watch your host or the people around you. If you are invited to someone's home, you can also ask a polite question like, "What is the usual custom here?" Most people appreciate that question because it shows humility.
Humility is a good word. It means not acting like you already know everything, right?
Exactly. Humility means being open to learning. And that attitude can protect you from one very common travel habit, which is making assumptions. An assumption is something you believe is true without checking. For example, assuming that your own habits are normal everywhere can lead to mistakes.
I can see that. If I assume everyone eats dinner at the same time I do, or that everyone appreciates the same volume of conversation, I might misread the situation.
Right. Let's talk about personal space next. In some cultures, people stand close during conversation. In others, they prefer more distance. If someone steps back, that may not mean they dislike you. It may simply mean they need more personal space. Personal space is the comfortable distance people like to keep between themselves and others.
That is such an important idea. Some learners might think, oh no, they are rejecting me, but maybe they are just following their cultural norm.
Exactly. Norm means a usual or accepted way of doing something. Social norms are the unwritten rules of behavior in a group. Different places have different norms, and good travelers learn to notice them quickly.
What about speaking? Are there etiquette rules for conversation too?
Definitely. For example, in some cultures it is polite to ask personal questions early, while in others it is better to keep things light until you know someone well. The safest strategy is to start with neutral topics like food, weather, travel, or local sites. Neutral means not likely to cause disagreement.
So neutral topics are like the safe path through a conversation. That is a helpful expression for listeners.
It really is. Another practical tip is to learn a few local phrases, even if your pronunciation is not perfect. Simple words like hello, thank you, and excuse me can create a very positive impression. Effort matters. People often forgive mistakes when they see you are trying.
I have experienced that before. When someone makes an effort to speak my language, I usually feel grateful, not critical.
Exactly. Now let's explore a few specific examples. In Japan, quiet behavior on public transport is often valued, so speaking loudly on a train may stand out. In many parts of the Middle East, greeting people warmly and taking time for conversation is an important sign of respect. In some European countries, being on time is very important, while in other places, schedules may be more flexible.
That shows how varied etiquette can be. There is no single global rule for everything.
That is the big lesson. Travel teaches flexibility. Flexibility means the ability to adapt when things change. A flexible traveler does not panic when local customs are different. Instead, they stay curious and adjust.
Curious is the perfect word there. I think curiosity helps you travel better than confidence alone. Confidence is useful, but curiosity keeps you learning.
I love that observation. Let's talk about another issue, tipping. In some countries, tipping is expected and even necessary. In others, it is not common or may even feel awkward. Before you travel, it is smart to check local tipping customs so you do not overpay or accidentally offend someone.
That is a great practical tip. I once tipped in a place where it was not common, and I could tell the person seemed confused. I was trying to be generous, but I did not understand the context.
And that is a perfect example of why context matters. Context means the situation around a word, action, or event. The same action can mean different things in different contexts. When you know the context, you make better choices.
So when we learn etiquette, we are really learning context. That is a smart way to think about it.
Yes. And here is one more phrase for our learners, to read the room. If you read the room, you notice the mood and behavior of the people around you, then adjust what you say or do. This is especially helpful at dinners, meetings, and social gatherings.
I love that expression. Read the room sounds almost like reading a hidden message.
That is a nice way to put it. Now, if a travel mistake does happen, what should you do? The best approach is to apologize calmly, correct yourself, and move on. Most people are understanding if they see that you are sincere. Sincere means honest and genuine.
So panic is not helpful. A simple apology and a calm attitude go much further.
Exactly. One final tip before our recap: if you are ever uncertain, ask respectful questions. You can say, "Is this okay?" Or "What is the usual way to do this here?" Asking is better than guessing. It shows respect and helps you learn faster.
That is such a good life skill, not just a travel skill. Asking saves time, reduces stress, and builds trust.
Beautiful summary, Jake. Let's recap today's lesson. We learned that etiquette means polite behavior, and cultural awareness helps us understand that different places have different norms. We talked about greeting styles, body language, personal space, dining customs, tipping, and the importance of context. We also learned useful vocabulary like blend in, humility, assumption, neutral, flexibility, read the room, and sincere.
And the big takeaway is that good travelers stay curious, observe carefully, and ask respectful questions when they are unsure. Travel becomes much richer when you approach it with an open mind.
Exactly. When you travel with respect, you do more than visit a place. You connect with people. Thanks for listening to the English Daily Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share the podcast with a friend, and come back tomorrow for more practical English and interesting ideas. Until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and happy travels.
Bye everyone, and see you in the next episode.